Welcome to another episode of My Plug Life, and today we're going to talk about something a little different. It's Battery Investor Day that Tesla just had. I waited a few days for the crazy people calm down after all this news and finish with their speculations. Now, this meeting really was two meetings put together. It was a shareholder meeting where they vote on things that they want to do, and then it was the Battery Investor Day. Now, the original Battery Investor Day was supposed to happen in like March. But because of the pandemic, everything got pushed, and eventually they found a way in order to have the meeting, which is really cool. But in that period of time, you had people speculating. You had market analysts going crazy. You had people talking about maybe Tesla's going to have aircraft now. Maybe they're going to have some new fancy battery that's going to give you twice as much range, and all they have to do is send you a software update. This is totally unrealistic, but people had time to think about it. So they got all their hypes up, the stock started to go up, and then after this meeting, everything went back down again. I'm not too surprised. If we look at history, if we look at Battery Investor Day and compare it to the last one they had, which was Autonomous Day. Autonomous Day, they said, here's our autonomous technology, here's what we're going to do, but we don't have a fully autonomous car. Big surprise. Why would people expect this out of Battery Investor Day? Why would they think that the battery is just going to magically be amazing? No. What they're doing is they're setting their plan to get there. So Tesla does something that other manufacturers don't. And Tesla tells everybody what they're doing. It's not a surprise when Tesla's in the lead because everybody knew what was happening, and yet they're still in the lead somehow. So basically, there's a lot of technical to this. There's a lot of things to be said. Please watch the video if you're technically minded. But I just want to summarize it here because the layperson, you and I, we don't really understand the difference between silicone and graphite and electrolysis and all this kind of stuff. Let's just go a simpler way of looking at basically what they said on this. So first they started about the company. They talked about how the company managed to be successful, economies of scale, and how they're able to realize money, make money, because they can manufacture a vehicle and sell the vehicle to the end customer in a much shorter time frame than a dealership network. Now, the dealership network was created back in the Ford days when he realized that building a car, producing the car, getting it to the customer, and then getting money was a long period of time. So the money he had to borrow to do that, he had to pay interest on, and that's not good. So he created a dealership network where people would basically buy the vehicle from him as a dealer, and then it would be their responsibility to sell to the end customer. This saved him a lot of money in interest. And then it was up to them to be able to sell the car at their own rate, whatever they can do. So when you walk into a dealership, they don't care what you want. They just want to get whatever they have off the lot because that's what they're paying interest on. They don't want you to special order a vehicle because that special order vehicle is not being charged interest. The ones on the lot are being charged interest. So anyways, the Tesla's way of doing things, this is why it's been saving them a lot of money, which is, nice to say. But I'm sure that's over everybody's head. So the goal of Tesla overall, which is why they tell people what they're doing and how they do it, is they want to transition the world over to sustainable energy and transportation. They want the world to go electric. This is not mind-blowing. They've been saying this since they started, and they've been telling people how they're doing it. So their goal for this is a 3-year goal, mind you, is they want to get up to 3 terawatt hours, and this is a big number, 3 terawatt hours. Now, when they talk about, they're talking about how much power the world needs, how much batteries the world needs in order to transition to fully electric. This is the numbers they gave. They said they would have to do 100 times their growth in order to get the automotive industry to change to fully electric over the lifespan of one vehicle. Now, one vehicle lasts 15 years. So they would need a certain number of batteries every year for 15 years to transition the whole thing over. And they say we'd need 100 times what we're making now. Now, if they wanted to do the same thing with the grid, so your coal-fired plants over to solar and then battery storage, they'd need to do 1,600 times growth. Now, this isn't over 15 years, this is over 25 years. The grid is a little bit different. But at the end of the day, they said each of these sections is 10 terawatts each. So it's 20 terawatts the world would need to create every single year in order to transition the world over. So this is their goal. They need to find a way to do this, and they're certainly not going to be able to do this on their own. So yes, they're going to keep their old partners. They're going to keep Panasonic and CATL and all these other guys they're buying batteries for, but they're not making batteries fast enough, and they can't really force them to. So they said, we're going to dip our toes into it and see what we can find out. And they did, and they found some amazing ways to speed this whole thing up, because that's the goal. They want more batteries to sell more cars to people, and battery storage and all that kind of stuff at a cheaper price in order to transition the world over. Okay, fine. So let's talk a little bit about this new technology they need to have, because right now they're not making enough of a change. They're not getting cheaper enough fast enough to make it worthwhile. So they had to make new technology, and this is what they came up with. There's only a few things. Watch the video if you want to see everything. There's only a few things that I'm going to just say for the average person that they should probably be interested in. First of all, there's this new tabless design of the battery. It has to do with the electrons getting out of the batteries. It's pretty complicated, but at the end of the day, what this is going to allow is that the same batteries, which are now going to be bigger and cheaper and all this kind of stuff, with this new design change, it's going to allow you to create less heat when charging and discharging your battery. Now, to the average person that just drives their Tesla and not worry about anything, or any other electric car for that matter, we don't realize that heat is our major issue. When you're charging and discharging your car, heat is what's stopping you from going faster. So if you charge at a supercharger, at the fast supercharger, this gives you 1,700 kilometers per hour. That's super fast. But if you watch the speed, it'll go up to that and then start coming back down depending on the charge level of your battery and the heat in the battery. If you can limit the heat so it doesn't get as hot, you can maintain that charge level longer. Now, kilometers per hour, that doesn't really mean all that much as how long am I going to be there. So if I said to you it's going to be a half an hour to basically fully charge your battery, but with this new technology it's going to take 15 minutes, that's going to mean something to you. That's huge. That's a big issue. And there's kind of just a little snippet in there. I thought that was just huge. Now, the other thing is they said they're going to have 3 different types of batteries, which, okay, that makes sense. They said there's going to have a cheaper one that's physically larger. This is good for storage, like your house, Powerwall or grid storage, but it also would be used for your shorter range Teslas. So you could save a lot of money by making those. And then you had a middle ground, and then they had a expensive version. Now this is what they're going to have in, say, the Cybertruck and the Semi, which has to do less weight but more expensive. So they'll have these different types of batteries, and depending on the situation, they can throw each of them into different vehicles. Okay, that's fine, sure, whatever. End of the day, it just describes how they can do what they're doing for the prices they're doing it. So at the end, there's one slide that I will stress that you should look at. This one slide tells you everything to do with this whole thing, summarizes everything you really need to know at the end of the day. And that is, first of all, 56% less cost per kilowatt hour. Now that's huge. So if you look at online and you look at charge a battery per weight and all this kind of stuff, they're going to give you a bunch of numbers out there. But basically they say $100 per kilowatt hour is what the golden number is. That's the point where gas cars and electric cars are the same cost. Tesla hasn't said specifically what they're able to do. Maybe they're doing 105, 110, maybe they're under 100, who knows? But that's today. If they got 6% less than that, if you're at $50 per kilowatt hour, like there's no way you'd buy a gas car at that point unless you had no way of charging it. That's a big deal. I don't know about you. Now, in addition to that, the other thing I thought was amazing is they said for the same cost, they can get a 54% range increase. So you have a physical battery, you're getting more power out of it, you're getting a cheaper cost, you're getting more range, you're getting everything in the whole, everything you could want. That's 50%, 54% more. And when they're going to build the battery, it's going to cost them 69% less. They have a smaller building, they have less people working, they're creating more batteries, they're doing it for cheaper, they're doing it more energy in them. What else could you possibly want? And I'll tell you what the problem with all this is that this is also the investor meeting. And investors, they don't care about what you're going to do in a year or 2 or 3. They care about what's happening today. And leading up to this meeting, the stock price went up. And then once they heard there was nothing today, the price went back down again. It'll come back up again, I'm sure. But that's just the way this thing works. So when you look online and you're talking about Tesla failing and blah, 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 look at these numbers. This is all that matters at the end of the day. I don't care how well Tesla does in the next 6 months. I'm worried how well they're going to do in the next year or 2 or 5 or 10. And this new battery technology is huge. This is game changer. This totally changes the whole climate of electric vehicles. And Tesla, they don't want to be the only one doing this. They want everybody to do this, which is why they told people what they're doing. They want Mercedes and BMW and Audi and everybody making electric vehicles. By telling them how they're going to save 50% in here and there and everywhere, hopefully they get the right idea and they throw their own technicians in and do the same sort of thing. That should have been the whole meeting. But of course, they've got to throw in the extra thing on top of that. So what they showed off is their new Tesla Model S, the Plaid version. Now this is going to be a 3-motor system. It's going to be faster and better and all this kind of stuff. It's a redesign of the Model S basically. They showed it going down this famous racetrack. It's super fast and available today. You just put your money down and it'll show up basically next year. So, hey, that's pretty cool. People are super excited about this. So now we have a firm date basically on when this is coming out. Okay, that's fine. And then at the end of the meeting, of course, they go to Q&A. And I hate these Q&As because it's not on topic. We're here to talk about batteries and people are talking about, I'm an artist and I want to have my music on Teslas. How do I do that? That's not what's important here. Really, what's important is the technology changes. And you've even listened to the people on stage. And that's what they wanted to talk about. They want to talk about their advancements, what makes them, what they're doing, the battery thing, huge. And this is really what the question should have been at. But, we got these other questions like how long before Tesla has an airplane and are you guys going to have boats soon? And, this is not battery day stuff. This is just general stuff. And I really wish people were more focused on the core technologies. But unfortunately, that's not how this works. People get excited about the possibilities of all this technology and how it's going to be used, but they lose sight on what they're actually telling people they're doing with the technology, what the key fundamentals of this whole thing is. And that is reducing the cost, reducing the footprint, making it more economical, and lowering the price of the battery such that they can sell a $25,000 Tesla, US $25,000, that's $10,000 less than the Model 3. That's huge. And I'm looking forward to that. And Elon was saying it's probably going to be about 3 years, but who knows exactly how long that is until it's out, of course. But that is exactly what I want to see. I want to see some more Teslas on the road because at the end of the day, the more we see on the road means there's less gas cars out there. And that's what we're going for. Anyways, thanks for checking out this video on My Plug Life. I had a lot of fun with this. There's a lot of speculations to read up on. So if you ever want to amuse myself, I would just go online and see all these wonderful, fabulous things that people expect Tesla to do. But at the end of the day, all they're interested in is transitioning the world to sustainable energy, transportation, and production, and storage. Keep that in mind. I'll see you on the next one.